Greetings, fellow artistes, and welcome to another episode of You Saw It, Now Draw It. I'm Scott Gabala Broxome, children's illustrator, author, and caricaturist, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a race car. So, grab your pencil and paper and eraser, and one more thing. I'd like you can stop the video here. I want you to go get, please, a quarter. We're going to need a quarter to trace for the wheels. That'll help a little bit. So you need your pencil, eraser, paper, and a quarter. All right. Okay. Well, let's start right in. What we're going to do first, start with the shapes, and then we add the details, right? But in this particular case, the car isn't going straight across like this. It's at a slight angle, isn't it? What we're going to do with this, in order to break this down into the shapes, this is something a little different than the animals and creatures that I've done before. What we're going to do is we're going to take the top part of this car off and this wonderful spoiler in the back. We're going to take that off. We're going to take the flames out for now. We're just going to focus on this shape in here. And I think the easiest thing to do is, I know it doesn't exactly look like it, but if we draw a long, thin rectangle to start with, I think that will help in drawing this car. But we can't do it straight across. It has to be at a slight angle, doesn't it? So on our paper here, let's see. What we'll do is we'll draw one part of the rectangle here. We're going to draw a long line, but it's not going to go straight across, is it? It has to be at a slight angle, going up like this. Okay. We're going to come down here and actually bring the rectangle down a little bit further. This is a little bit longer than this, but it'll make sense. And then what we're going to do is we'll draw the diagonal line, slight diagonal line coming up like this. Okay. All right, now I know that looks nothing like what's on the paper, but let's see if we can fine-tune the shape here first. What we're going to do is let's go to the back part of this car here. What we're going to do is we're going to come in. We're going to draw this part here, but we have to go up, don't we? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over like this from the left side, just a little bit, and we're going to draw a curve, a slight curve line coming up like that. Then what we're going to do is this straight line here, we're going to curve a little bit like this. And actually, I think I made my rectangle a little bit too wide, and this is what we'll do. I'm actually going to draw a second line like this because I drew my rectangle not quite right. Okay. All right, so diagonal here, curving like this. All right, let's go to the front part here. What we're going to do here, if this is the rectangle part here, right, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go in a little bit and then out like this. And what we're going to do is bring it out a little bit like this. So I didn't go all the way to the bottom of the line, did I? See, it's kind of messy here. Let me erase that so you can see it a little bit easier here. So instead of the rectangle like this, I came in, down, but before I got to the line, I came out just a little bit for this part there. Okay. All right. Now, why don't we start with this part here? What we're going to do is we're going to come down here like this, and right about here. Now, you know what? I think this will work. I think I actually made this. Oh, I see what I did. Okay. All right, correction here. We're going to come up like this. We're going to make this shorter, and we're going to bring this up like this. Okay. So this is what we did before, right? We're going to come back up and make a shorter line, and then we're going to erase that other one we just did. Okay. Because from this one here, what we're going to do is we're going to curve that up like this. Okay. So my apologies. It may look easy, but race cars are actually kind of tricky things to draw. So we started with a rectangle. We put in that angle, didn't we? But we made a shorter line here and curved it up like that. Okay. Now, what we can do is, let's come down the bottom here of the car. We're going to stop about here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a big upside down U, about like that. Okay. And hopefully we get our quarter here. We put the wheel in, so it has to be big enough that we can get that quarter in there for the wheel, right? Okay. Now, what I'm seeing here, it curves around like this, doesn't it? We're going to go back here, so let's keep going. We'll go over the line we drew before, but when we get back here, what we're going to do, well, right at the bottom where we curved up before, we're going to draw a second upside down U. And if possible, see if you can make it about the same size as the other one. So once again, if I stick that quarter in there, when we get the quarter in there, it should be able to fit just fine. Okay. We can do now, real quickly, underneath those upside down U's, let's erase that. And actually, if you haven't already done so, let's erase that little straight line from the rectangle before there. So already it's starting to get there. Definitely looks like the beginnings of a car, doesn't it? Okay. Let's go. We might as well start with a quarter. Let's get the wheels in there too. Let's put that quarter right in here like this. And if you can, put your finger on it, hold it very firmly. And what we'll do is we will trace around that quarter. Aha! Voila, here we go. We got the wheel. All right. Once you've done that, of course, we're going to put one in here. So let's put that right about there. And we'll do the same thing here. Now what's interesting is this is probably about the size of the hubcap, not the wheel itself. So we may actually be doing another line around this. But for now, let's just get those in there. Okay. All right. Now, I'll tell you what, let's change these wheels just a little bit, because what I'm seeing is this is actually this part here, isn't it? We actually need to make the wheel a little bit bigger. So if you can, take your pencil and close to it, we're going to make a circle that goes around that, like that. We're going to do the same thing here, and it's close to the other one. So we're using that hubcap as sort of the guide to being able to make this wheel still look round. Okay. Right in the center of these, I would like you to put, so it looks like a giant eye staring at you. That's the little black circle there. Same thing here. Then we're going to put another one around that. Okay, because that's that silver part there. Same thing in the back. And then we're going to put one more thin line the line that we drew with the help of the quarter, just underneath that, we're going to draw another one that's very close to it. And see, it doesn't have to be a perfect line. I'm kind of sketchy when I do that, aren't I? Okay. It's looking good. All right. Let's add the top part of this car then. All right, what we're going to do is, let's put this in first, which is the spoiler, right? This great detail on the back. So what we're going to do is we'll draw a diagonal line coming out like that. We're going to curve it around and bring it back over here. It's a little wider. See, it's not the same width here. It's a little wider when we get down here, and we'll draw another straight line just above like that. Then what we're going to do is we'll come up here, and this shape here, well, it's kind of like a football shape or a lemon shape that's been cut off on the ends, isn't it? So this is the shape we're going to add like this. We're going to add another shape similar to it over here, but it's over to the side a little bit. It's a little farther back. So we're going to bring this over like this. Then I see a line going up like this, and I know you can't see this, but I know there's a line that goes across it like that. Because it almost looks as if we're looking at this car from the side, but it's still a little bit at an angle, so we're going to get the back part of that too, aren't we? So when we've done this, I see another line like this next to the first two lines, the spoiler lines we drew. We're going to draw a diagonal line underneath it. We're going to bring another line. We'll add the bumper in a little bit, but we're going to bring this around like this. We'll add that bumper in a little while, and the exhaust pipe with the great flames coming out there. Let's go back to this shape up here. What we're going to do is this part right here on the spoiler, right where it touches these two lines right there, we're going to draw a diagonal line that goes up like this, about this far, and then it's going to stop. Okay, so it just went a little farther than where the wheel is right here, didn't we? We're going to stop with our line, then we're going to go straight, well, perpendicular with this line here. All right, we're going to stop, then we're going to come down like this. We're going to go a little bit further, and then we're going to bring a line across again, but that comes right down to the front. Okay, now what did I just do? Okay, let's go back to the spoiler here. Right here where the spoiler touches this side part here, we're going to start with a diagonal line coming up a little further than the wheel, right? We're going to stop, draw a line across, stop, bring a diagonal line down like this, stop again. We're going to go across one more time and curve it till it touches the front like that. Okay. Now, let's go back in here. Let's put in the windows and the door here, all right? Right over here, where we came up before we went down into the diagonal, we're going to come down here, and we're going to draw a straight line that goes across about this far. Remember, we came up here and turned the angle right here? We're not going to bring that line quite as far as that. Okay, it goes about that length. Then what we're going to do is we'll bring a diagonal line down like this. We're going to bring another one on the other side down, but it's going to be shorter. It doesn't go all the way to the bottom. We're going to stop because then it's going to turn around and curve down like that. Okay, so this one goes all the way to the bottom. This one comes down, but we're going to stop and turn it around like that. Then we're going to come in a little bit here, and I see the diagonal line here, just right about here. Actually, I see two of them. So this is going to be the rear window, and this will be the door here, right? The window to the door. So these two lines here, I put 1 and 2. The first one I did, I want you to bring that line all the way down to the bottom like that, because it goes all the way down there. Then what we're going to do is we'll come over here, and this diagonal in the front of the window there, we're going to bring that around a little bit like this and bring that down like this. So this line is diagonal. This one kind of comes like this, right? So it's kind of coming in a little more like that. What I see from this door here, let's bring a very light line. I'm not going to press too hard. That comes up and around like this for a nice detail around the wheel here. I'm getting a little too sketchy here. Let's draw that a little bit cleaner line till we come around like that. There is one around this one too. If you can see it, comes around like this. So we'll do that as well. Okay, so we're getting there. Okay, got the shapes. A few more shapes, then we can add some of the details here. Let's go back to this bumper here and the very back here. We came around like this. What we have to do with this bumper, let's go right to the end here. We're going to come out just a little bit. Curve your line like this. We're going to come down like this, and then we'll come in like that. So around, down, and back in. Then what we're going to do is, remember where we came around? Come around again just a little bit, and this time bring another diagonal line coming like that. Okay, underneath that, we'll save the flame for the very end. Let's bring two lines coming out like this with a little backward C on the end of them. We'll add the flames as the final touch later on. Okay, let's go back to the spoiler. What we're going to do is we're going to put, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I see is we'll bring the line up, and we're going to bring the line over like this, but we're going to stop and bring it down before we get to that back window. And what I see, you probably can't see it, but there's, it's like a vent. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. And if you do 8 or you do 6, don't worry about it. That's fine. Then I see some what they probably call fins here on the back of the car, these vents. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up above here again. We're going to draw another diagonal line that comes up till it touches the back window there. And then what we're going to do is let's draw a diagonal line here and another one way over here, almost to the top of the roof. And now what we're going to do, can you see these little black triangles? We're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally 5. Okay, and very lightly let's connect them like this. Okay, let's go back to that bumper again here. What we're going to do is, let's remember where we came down the back of it, the bumper. We're going to draw another line across like that, or at a diagonal, I should say. And that line, we're going to draw straight across like this till it touches that big upside down U. Then we're going to skip across here, and if you can, we're going to draw it all the way across the car till it touches the other upside down U. We're going to skip over until we come all the way to the end here, like this. Okay. Now we're going to go back here, right where we started before, and what we're going to do is we're going to come down a little bit and draw a second line. Do you see how there's two lines here going across the car? So let's do the same thing. Okay. Now, I did make a mistake. See the front of my car here? See how that comes down like this? So what I have to do is, I'm going to have to erase, and since you're following me, you will too. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that curve line all the way down like this. So it was up here before, we're bringing it down like this, and we can do the same thing with this one and bring it down like that. So that looks a little bit more like the race car now. Drawing cars is very interesting. There's a lot of, it's very precise with the spaces here, so. Okay. Let me clean that up a little bit too here. Okay. Let's add a few more details to this, and essentially we're done. Let's go back to the window up here. All right, now I see, I'm just going to draw what I see here, but I see sort of two diagonal lines like this, straight across, with a smaller box right in here. Lines going straight across, and then the smaller box in there. Over here, the rear view mirror, what I'm seeing is kind of a triangle shape, but it's kind of curved around with a little upside down U underneath it there, right? All right, I'm going to add the lines where the colors would go. I'm not going to put all the little numbers and words on it here. That's something that you could do later if you want. But what I am going to do is, let's go to this rear window here. What we're going to do is right next to it, I want you to draw a diagonal line coming right down like this to the tire. Right like that. We're going to skip over, come down the window about halfway, and we're going to draw another diagonal line that comes down like this. We're going to skip over here, and what I see is a straight line with a curved line underneath it for where the door handle is. But just to the right of that, we're going to draw another diagonal line that comes down like this. The final one, we're going to skip back over here. These little vents that we drew, about halfway over, we're going to take our pencil and draw one more diagonal line like this. And after the video is over, you'll be able to pause it. You can add the colors if you want, or color it anything you want. It doesn't have to be these colors. Okay. Oh my goodness, what else to add? Well, essentially we're done, but one more thing. Let's add the tail lights here. So we're going to go above the bumper. We're going to go right about here and draw another diagonal line. We're going to come over here, a diagonal line here, curve it around, and come back up. So what did I do? Diagonal line, come over here, curve it a little bit, and back up. And you can see how the line on the bumper there, you could erase that a little bit. Okay. Now, this car does look like it has two wheels. That's the only wheels we can see. However, if you look under here, you can see that if we move over, I see a little bit of probably the second wheel. You can't really see any second wheel underneath here, or fourth wheel, I should say. But what we're going to do is, for the shadow, let's come back here like this. We're going to turn the line around a little bit at a diagonal. We're going to come back under it. Then we come up like this. I'll stop in just a second to give you a chance to catch up. Then we're going to go over like this. And right over here, come back over like this till it touches. And I do see There's one more line over here. Just keep adding more lines. A diagonal line right over here. Okay. Let's finish this off with the flames. And in this case, wiggle your pencil just a little bit. It kind of comes out like this, and you can wiggle it back and forth till it goes like that. I see a little bit of a darker area in here and a little bit more like this. So the car doesn't look like it's flying off into outer space. What we are going to do, let's very quickly, we're going to come down here, and right about here we're going to draw a diagonal line like that. Then, and I'll let you catch up here in just, give me just a second here, I'm going to draw a skinnier one as close to the other one as you can, like that. We're going to go up above the exhaust pipe here, right about just below where the back tail lights are, and we're going to draw another line, 2 lines actually, like that. Then we're going to skip over and draw 2 more like this. And if it would be easier for you, I don't have a ruler, but you could take a ruler, if it'd be easier, and line it up like this, a longer ruler, so the other end would be here, so you could get the lines to match up if you want. Okay, well, I know there's another track up here. There's a lot of really great brown and green here for the grass. That's something that you can add later. But essentially, and I'm trying to see, for the most part, I think we've got all the shapes and as much of the detail as we're putting in now. As I say, you can put the number 37, or however old you are, you can put that number on there if there's a special number. You can add, I don't know, your favorite candy bar or favorite type of thing. You could put the product name on the side of the car. Add some names on here, some names of your family members or best friends if you want, so you can kind of make it your own specialized race car. But essentially, we've got the shapes and the details. And, oh, see, I just keep thinking of one more thing. I will do this one more thing. I didn't make the wheels darker, but if I do shade in the shadow here, at least that helps it to look like it's down on the ground, doesn't it? Okay. I promise I won't do any more. I'll let you take off from here. Well, how did you do? That was a tough one, wasn't it? I mean, everything is very precise, as I said. But, and again, if your racing car is longer or wider, whatever, it doesn't matter. Racing cars come in all different shapes and sizes, don't they? But I'm sure you did a marvelous job. So, a real winner of a job, too, didn't you? So, until next time, keep on sketching. And as always, draw some awesome pictures.